Hey everyone, ready to dive into something really cool? We're talking all about the future of the BMW M3.
I'm excited for this one.
Me too, right? It's an icon, and this Autocar article has me thinking. They interviewed Frank Van Meel.
The BMW MCEO.
Yeah, him. And he had some interesting things to say about where the M3 is headed.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, the big question is gas, electric, or both.
Yeah.
You know, what's the future powertrain going to be?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Everyone's wondering what these performance brands are going to do.
Totally. And it sounds like BMW is actually aiming for that best of both worlds situation.
Oh, really? So they're not picking sides just yet?
Not quite. They're calling it a dual powertrain strategy. So a traditional gas M3 A and D, a fully electric one, offered side by side.
Wow, that's a bold move. Gotta cater to everyone, I guess.
I think there's more to it than that, though. I mean, sure, they're listening to those diehard gas engine fans.
Right, gotta keep those purists happy.
But the reality is, emissions regulations are getting tougher and the whole industry is shifting towards electric.
Yeah, no escaping that. So it's a smart business move for sure.
Absolutely. But there's this quote from Van Meel that really stuck with me. He said, "An M3 is a promise, not an engine."
Ooh, that's deep. What do you think he means by that?
Right. I was wondering the same thing. I think he's trying to say that the heart of the M3 isn't about a specific type of engine.
It's more about the feeling, the experience.
Yeah. It's that promise of performance, agility, that connection with the road. And that's something they want to deliver no matter what's powering the car.
Makes sense. But let's be real for a sec. One of the biggest challenges with electric performance cars is the weight.
Tell me about it.
Those battery packs are heavy, and that extra weight can really mess with the handling.
And the M3 is all L about that nimble, responsive handling. So how do they solve that?
That's the question, right? Can an electric M3 really live up to the legacy if it feels heavy and sluggish?
Well, Van Meel seemed to think they can crack the code. And he used a pretty interesting analogy to explain his point.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
He compared it to, wait for it, the early days of the iPhone.
The iPhone. Okay. I'm not seeing the connection yet.
Think about it. Early iPhones had all these cool features, but the battery life was terrible.
Oh, yeah, I remember those days. Charge it twice a day or you were dead in the water.
Exactly. But over time, charging tech got better, batteries became more efficient.
And now we've got phones that can last all day, easy.
Right. And Van Meel believes the same thing will happen with EVs. As charging infrastructure improves and batteries evolve, that weight will come down.
Interesting. So he's saying it's not a permanent roadblock, just a temporary hurdle.
Exactly. And that opens up some really exciting possibilities for future sporty EVs like the M3.
I like his optimism, but I'm still a little skeptical. I mean, charging infrastructure still has a long way to go, especially in certain parts of the world.
Oh yeah, for sure. Plus, if you're really pushing a performance EV on a track, that battery drains way faster than just driving around town.
Good points. But you gotta admit, battery tech has come a long way, even in the last few years.
True, true. Energy density is increasing, charging speeds are getting faster, and they're constantly developing new battery chemistries.
Exactly. It's moving fast. And BMW isn't just sitting around waiting for a miracle solution to the weight problem either.
They're being proactive. What are they doing?
One of the things they're testing is a quad motor setup for the electric M3, so each wheel gets its own dedicated motor.
Whoa, hold on. That's 4 motors.
Yep, you heard that right. 4 motors.
That's pretty wild. But how does that help with the weight issue?
It doesn't eliminate the weight, but it changes how the weight is managed. Think torque vectoring.
Okay, torque vectoring. That's where the car controls the power going to each wheel individually, right?
Exactly. Imagine you're taking a corner at speed. With torque vectoring, the car can subtly adjust the power to each wheel, almost like it's anticipating your next move and guiding you through the turn.
So it's like having a co-pilot helping you corner perfectly.
Exactly. And it's not just cornering. Torque vectoring can also improve acceleration, stability, even braking performance. It's a game changer.
Okay, starting to see why they're going all in on this quad motor setup. It's like they're using the weight to their advantage.
Exactly. It's not just about raw power, it's about control and precision. And that's where their Heart of Joy system comes in.
Wait, Heart of Joy? I thought it was called Hand of God.
It was, but they decided to change the name.
I guess Hand of God was a bit much, huh?
Yeah, maybe a tad dramatic. So Heart of Joy is basically the brain of the car.
The central control unit that manages all these complex systems.
Exactly. It uses algorithms to figure out how much power to send to each wheel at any given moment, all to create that signature M3 driving experience.
That feeling of being connected to the road.
Precisely. It's like a conductor leading an orchestra, making sure everything works together in perfect harmony.
I like that analogy. So we've got this crazy tech, a visionary CEO, and an iconic car about to go through a massive transformation. But what about the competition? Where does BMW's strategy fit into the bigger picture of the auto industry?
Well, the M3 isn't the only performance car going through an identity crisis right now. Oh, for sure. Everyone's trying to figure out this electric future.
Right. Mercedes-AMG is going hybrid with their C63, Porsche has the all-electric Taycan, and even Hyundai is making some noise with performance EVs like the Ioniq 5N.
So it's like everyone's playing a high-stakes game of automotive chess right now.
Exactly. Trying to predict the next move, stay ahead of the curve. And BMW's dual powertrain strategy is a bold gamble. They're not picking a side just yet.
It's like they're saying, we're going to play both sides of the board and see what happens.
And honestly, that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. It's not just about tech. It's about the future of an entire industry.
Couldn't have said it better myself, but we're just scratching the surface here, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. We need to go deeper into those key technologies, understand how they actually work and what they mean for the driving experience. And we need to talk about the broader implications for the entire automotive landscape. This is big.
You read my mind. There's so much more to unpack here, so buckle up, everyone, because we're just getting started. Yeah, it's a game changer for sure, and the stakes are high.
So let's dive into some of these innovations, starting with torque vectoring.
All right, sounds good.
I kind of get the basic idea, controlling the power to each wheel. But what makes it so special in the context of the M3?
Well, picture this. You're pushing the M3 hard through a tight corner.
Okay, I'm following.
With a traditional car, you might start to feel that understeer, the front end pushing wide.
Yeah, I felt that.
But with torque vectoring, the car can actually reduce power to the outer wheels and send more to the inner wheels.
So it pulls you back into the corner.
Exactly. Giving you more grip and control, and it's not just about cornering either.
Oh, really? What else can it do?
It can actually improve acceleration stability and even braking performance. It's a truly transformative technology, especially for electric cars, because of that instant torque.
Okay, I'm starting to see the light here, but torque vectoring's not exactly brand new, is it? I feel like other performance cars have been using it for a while now.
You're right, it's not brand new, but the difference here is the level of precision that BMW is aiming for with this quad motor setup.
Ah, so it's like next level torque vectoring.
Exactly. Having a dedicated motor for each wheel gives them so much more control. It's a whole new level.
It's like they're taking something that's already pretty cool and just turning it up to 11.
Exactly. And that brings us to the heart of the operation, the heart of joy system.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It's like a super advanced computer program, right? What makes it so different from all the other software that's in modern cars?
Well, think of Heart of Joy as the conductor of an orchestra. It's not just managing individual systems, it's bringing them all together.
Okay, I'm picturing this conductor with their arms waving.
Right. Heart of Joy is making sure everything works in perfect harmony, constantly adapting to what the driver is doing and the road conditions.
So it's all about creating a seamless experience for the driver.
Exactly. That feeling of being completely connected to the car. Imagine accelerating hard out of a corner. Heart of Joy can adjust the power to each wheel to prevent wheel spin.
Wow, so it's like it's anticipating what you're going to do.
Yep, and it can even adjust the suspension to keep the car perfectly balanced.
So it's not just about raw speed. It's about feeling in control even when you're pushing the limits.
And here's the really crazy part. They're using AI to personalize the experience.
Wait, AI in a car? Like the car is learning my driving style.
That's the idea. It's becoming more common in high-end cars. AI can learn your preferences and adapt the car's responses.
Wow, this is some next level stuff. It's like having a co-pilot that knows exactly what you want to do.
It really is a radical concept, but it shows how fast the automotive world is changing, and the M3 is leading the charge.
Okay, so we've got groundbreaking tech, a CEO with a bold vision and an iconic car about to be reinvented. But let's not forget about emissions regulations.
Right, we can't ignore those.
Governments are cracking down on tailpipe emissions, and performance cars are often the worst offenders.
It's true. So is this the beginning of the end for the gasoline-powered M3?
Is this dual powertrain strategy just a temporary fix before everything goes fully electric?
That's the big question, isn't it? Nobody knows for sure what the future holds.
Yeah, it's a real crossroads for the industry.
But one thing is clear, the internal combustion engine is facing an uphill battle.
So even if BMW manages to squeeze a few more years out of the gas-powered M3, it seems like the writing's on the wall.
The future is probably electric.
But that doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? It doesn't mean the end of performance cars as we know them.
Not at all. In fact, I think it's the start of a whole new era of performance driving.
Okay, I like where you're going with this.
Electric powertrains have the potential to unlock new levels of performance and control that we can only dream of today.
I'm sensing a but coming.
But there are still some major hurdles to overcome, and the biggest one is weight. Those batteries are still heavy.
Yeah, and that's a big problem for a car like the M3, which is supposed to be all about agility.
Right. And then there's the issue of range anxiety, especially for people who like to push their cars to the limit track days mountain driving that can drain a battery pretty quickly.
So we're not quite there yet with the technology. It's like we can see the finish line, but we still got a ways to go.
It's like that iPhone analogy. It's a good comparison, but is it really accurate?
Yeah, I have my doubts. Charging a car is not as easy as plugging in your phone. We're still a long way from having super fast chargers everywhere.
You're right to be skeptical, but technology has a way of surprising us. Maybe there's a breakthrough just around the corner.
A battery revolution, who knows?
Exactly. We might see something that changes everything overnight.
I guess we'll have to wait and see, but it's going to be a fascinating ride.
Absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see how BMW handles all of this. They've got a lot riding on the new M3.
Yeah, their decisions could have ripple effects throughout the entire industry.
For sure. So what do you think? Will they pull it off? Will the electric M3 live up to the hype?
Tough question, honestly. I think they have the talent and the resources to make it happen, but it's a huge challenge.
No doubt about it. It's a gamble, but it's one that could pay off big time.
Well, one thing's for sure we'll be watching closely. But for now, let's take a step back and think about the big picture.
Yeah, the broader implications of all of this.
What does the M3's electric future mean for the rest of the performance car world? That's something we need to explore. Okay, so we're back and ready to wrap things up. It's been a wild ride talking about the future of the BMW M3.
It really has. Dual powertrains, torque vectoring, AI, emissions regulations. We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. BMW is clearly making some big moves. But what does it all mean for the bigger picture? For the entire auto industry?
Well, I think BMW and the M3 are like a perfect example of what's happening across the whole performance car world.
A kind of microcosm of the changes happening everywhere.
Exactly. We're seeing a real shift in how we think about performance. It's not just about horsepower anymore.
Right. It's about the whole package. The handling, the precision, the connection between the car and the driver.
You got it. And technology is a huge part of that. We're seeing all these innovations like torque vectoring and advanced software that are changing the game.
But a lot of that tech is still pretty new, right? We're still figuring out how to use it to its full potential.
True. It's like we're exploring a whole new frontier, and we don't know exactly what we'll find.
That's what makes it so exciting. But let's not forget about the elephant in the room, climate change and emissions.
Right. We can't ignore that. So how do we balance this incredible new technology with the need to be more sustainable?
Can we have our cake and eat it too?
It's the question everyone's asking, and there's no easy answer. But I think BMW's dual powertrain strategy is a pretty smart approach.
It's like they're hedging their bets.
Yeah,
Appealing to the gas engine fans while also investing in the electric future.
exactly. But I gotta admit, I'm a bit skeptical about the long-term future of the gas-powered M3.
Yeah, with those emissions regulations getting stricter, it seems like it's on borrowed time.
I get your skepticism. But hey, you never know. Maybe we'll see some crazy breakthrough in tech that changes everything.
A synthetic fuel revolution, who knows?
Anything is possible. But even if the gas engine does eventually disappear, I think performance cars will find a way to thrive in an electric world.
I agree. The passion for driving, for pushing the limits, that's not going anywhere.
It's just going to take on new forms, new ways of expressing itself.
So what's next for the M3? What can we expect to see in the coming years?
Well, I think we'll see a continued focus on performance and driving dynamics, but there's going to be more emphasis on sustainability and efficiency too.
Maybe we'll see some crazy new lightweight materials, or even more advanced battery tech.
And who knows, maybe we'll even see some radical new designs, cars that look and feel completely different from what we're used to.
It's an exciting time to be a car enthusiast. This has been an awesome deep dive into the world of the BMW M3. It's clear this iconic car is facing some big changes, but if anyone can pull it off, it's BMW.
They've got the history, the expertise, and the passion. It's going to be fascinating to see what they come up with.
Absolutely. But before we sign off, I want to leave you with a question to ponder. If you were designing the next M3, what would be your top priority? Performance, technology, sustainability. It's a tough one, but it's something to think about as we head into this brave new world of automotive innovation. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of the BMW M3. Until next time.